It's time now for the Matt and Todd Show with Big Matt and Diamond Dean.
Good evening, Cherokee County and people across the world. This is Big Matt, Diamond Dean. Welcome to the Matt and Todd Show. Thank you guys for tuning again here at WDKR. We're excited to be back. Glad everybody got tuned in last week. We had a lot of things happen. A lot of stuff happened last night, and we're going to get on that right now. We're going to get into a SEC game. Looked like A&M and Oklahoma State, 24-21. A&M had just outrushed them. That's what it looked like to me, Todd.
24-21, and it was 14-0 though, Oklahoma State. And after that, Oklahoma State did absolutely nothing. I mean, it was like 199 yards of offense at half, 1 yard in the third quarter.
Don't A&M lead that rivalry?
I'm sure they do. I mean, I'm not saying Oklahoma State's bad in any way. Obviously, Thurman Thomas, Barry Sanders came out of there. So they've had some good teams.
Blackman guy, receiver?
Justin Blackman, yeah.
I remember him. Oh, he was good.
And, of course, you know, they had that 1 year where it come down to them and Alabama to go to the BCS championship.
The blonde-headed guy was like 30 years old.
Yeah, he was 28, 29. I don't remember his name, but he did. He actually played some in the pros. He was 28 years old.
Yeah. We'll move into your game. You wanted to see Memphis and Penn State lock horns. It looks like they did. That was the Cotton Bowl. It's like Penn State snuck one out of there, 53-39. Now, I had brought up the point when we talked about this last that if the score was 33-30, would you feel good about Memphis if they had competed? Well, how do you feel about 39-4? I know they scored late there, so
I think Memphis. I mean, they stood up to the challenge. I mean, this game was nip and tuck. Actually, Penn State had a fumble return late.
Yeah.
And that kind of made it 46-30. That might have made it 53-39, made it to 2 touchdowns. But Memphis could not stop them. Memphis is offensively can play with anybody.
I was kind of, maybe surprised because I hadn't watched them play. I watched them play a little bit during the year. But to play with a big school like Penn State, they're a known.
Well, and Penn State played Ohio State good, and we know from last night that Ohio State's a pretty good football team.
Yes. They just, I think Memphis hung in there, and their quarterback had a good game. It's just talent. Just the 5 stars upon 5 stars matching guys.
Well, I texted you during it, and you said Memphis is playing good.
Yeah.
But they're wearing out.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Talent usually, most of the time, catches up. Not less like, I watched the Air Force. Did you catch any of that game?
Yeah, boy, they throw it a lot, don't they?
Yeah.
They throw it 4 times?
Yeah. It was pretty good. That was a good game. I also watched
I was kind of shocked by that. They ran the ball. They probably rushed for 300 or 400 yards.
Eastern Michigan and Pitt. Why did they not bring up Tony Dorsett as one of their all-time Pitt players? Did you see that?
They didn't bring him? I mean, he won the Heisman Trophy. He was an all-time. They didn't bring him up?
No, they had
Fitzgerald.
Yes, of course, and Ditka, of course he's a Hall of Fame guy. We know, but that was kind of strange they didn't. That was a good game. Eastern Michigan played them good. The little quarterback there, Glass the third, he held on and he hung in there. And there toward the end of the game, it got cheapy. You see him, he threw a few punches and.
Yeah, he actually got thrown out.
Yeah, right at the end. I hated that. It seemed like a good game, and they just they lost their cool there at the end. They felt like they had a chance, and it just wasn't good enough for some situations. But overall, I enjoyed watching the game. The Pitt and Eastern Michigan was a good game to watch. The Notre Dame Iowa State was not really a good game. Notre Dame
it was just a blowout. Just a blowout.
All right, Notre Dame, Iowa State. Notre Dame just handled business with Iowa State. They had 455 total yards, 208 on rushing. Notre Dame did.
I was surprised by that. I just thought it would be a better game.
I did too.
I mean, Iowa State all year, their quarterback, I think he come in averaging over 300 yards offense a game. And I had a friend tell me earlier in the year, I believe it was Kilgrove, that said that he was great. their quarterback was great, but they never got off the ground. When they kicked 3 field goals,
Yeah.
didn't even score a touchdown.
I figured it'd be a 33-28. You know, Notre Dame would probably win, but
I thought Notre Dame would win, but I mean, it was never close.
they couldn't.
Never
They
close.
couldn't score. Let's see.
Notre Dame looked all right towards the end of the year.
Yeah, they come on better.
After that Michigan beat down.
Yeah, I got some stuff on that too when we do the Bama Michigan game stats for that. The USC 24, Iowa 49.
God, I was shocked by that.
USC outpassed them, but Iowa controlled the clock, the time of the game. So I think that's kind of what they do.
You know, they're not bad. They had beaten Minnesota, you know, and played with some other teams that were pretty good. You know, Iowa's got a pretty good program. We don't hear a lot about it. They're never in the mix in the Final Four.
Yeah.
But they're always pretty decent.
Right.
And, I mean, USC had come on there towards the end of the year. But I saw on that thing, did you see how bad of a recruiting year USC had?
Yeah, you know.
They showed that during the game.
Yeah, we talked about that. They had so many recruits leave the state, and USC wasn't even in the top 50 in recruiting. They're not going to win any games, Todd, if they can't get kids.
Last in the conference. I'm very confused by that. I don't understand.
I don't know if it's, you know, they had a time of probation that they went through, and it's kind of scared some of the kids to go there. You know, Bama went through that for a little while, and it just kind of rattles the foundations a little bit. And I don't know if AD changes, which I think they've had.
Well,
And coaching changes.
something's going on, and it showed in the ball game. I mean, 49-24. This was just it was tied a little bit in the first, but Iowa clearly the better team.
Yeah.
And it was, 16 versus 22. You know, it wasn't like it was a bad matchup, 1 versus 25 or
Yeah.
somebody that's not ranked. I mean, it was I think the spread in the game was 6.5.
Yeah.
Might have been less than that, 4.5, and they beat them by 25.
I don't see USC, like I said, rebounding from any of this if they can't. They're going to have to get some kids. I mean, you got to have playmakers down there to make plays.
I don't see them being good for quite a while. I mean, last in recruiting in the conference, that may have been, that may not have been.
Well, speaking of somebody
Correct, but-
that's going to be good, and it's going to be good in this championship game, the game that it's just a stat game, and there's not really a whole lot you can say. A bad call here or there maybe, but LSU just throttled
God.
Oklahoma. In the first play, you know, Jalen's got the ball, and he's throwing the ball away and running for his life. I knew from the beginning it looked like it's going to be a tough night for them. What'd you think?
My dad didn't see the game, and he asked me how Jalen played, and I said he really didn't play that bad. He couldn't do nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, from the start, you know, all we've heard is that LSU's defense is pretty bad. I think Alabama's offense may have been just pretty good.
Yeah. Alabama hung with them and played with them. And in the second half, they made some adjustments and came back and made a good run at it. But
Well, and
Oklahoma, just their defense, you know when you have a prolific offense that Brady's running down there in New Orleans, they're going to score points. I had, LSU winning like,
I had them winning.
45-28,
Yeah.
which it wound up being 63-28.
And Burrow had 493 yards passing.
Right.
They had 693 yards of offense, which is ridiculous.
All college football playoff records now.
7
If
touchdowns.
somebody come on and try to beat that, good luck.
And you know the scary thing about LSU? Jamar Chase won the Biletnikoff Award, best receiver in the country. He caught 2 passes.
Yeah,
And the running back touched it twice.
yeah.
And they beat Oklahoma 63. He just threw to the other receivers. They cover up Chase, he just throws to Jefferson. And the Moss kid did great. I mean, he had a coming out
Yeah.
party. Randy Moss's son.
Yeah, they made fun of him a little bit about his speed. He wasn't quite as fast as his daddy.
Well, I mean, come on.
Who's Randy Moss? So he's one of probably my top 5 receivers of all
Oh,
time.
he was great. And the boys coming on, they say he's a tight end, but they split him out and everything. I mean,
I'm sure he's smart, football smart, but prepared for the game. It looks like the LSU was prepared. It looks like they come in and scored. Once they got up, 21-0, it seems like after Oklahoma scored, and I think they went 3 and out again, I knew then this is not going to fare well. It's pretty much over with.
Well, it's just when it's 7-7, I thought this is going to be a ball game, and they just come back right back down and scored. Then they scored again, and I think when he threw that touchdown, scrambling to his right, I knew it was over.
Yeah, I feel the same way. That was the play that you just kind of shook your head.
And what about the play where he was going out to the right and slung it back across the field and found the guy?
Yeah, you just pick your phone up and get on Facebook and start.
I didn't even watch the second half.
None of it. Fell asleep. I ate dressing and had some little cocktail weenies. And I ate a bunch. I did. I fell asleep. I enjoy watching them. I can't lie. They're favorites to win the national championship. But a game that was not a blowout at all was Clemson, Ohio State. Now, that was a game.
That was a great football game. I don't know if I've ever seen a game change like that one did. You can go on Facebook and look at the comments, and golly, boy, this committee got it wrong. This is awful. This is terrible. Another blowout. And next thing you know,
the drive where they was going down, it seemed like, and most of the night, honestly, it seemed like everything Ohio State did, probably the first two quarters for sure, maybe some after halftime, maybe a little. Everything Fields threw up, they were catching. That one he called on sidelines at the start of the game and put his hand down, they called him in.
Right.
Wow. You feel like they couldn't do anything wrong. They go down there and score, but...
Well, I heard an expert talk about it, and he said what got Ohio State beat was the not getting the touchdowns in the first half. They had to kick 3 field goals.
Well, every time it was third down, I noticed that Clemson stood up. Think about it. Every time they went down there, they went up kicking 3. When you can hold out like that, so honestly, as a review of the game, you can look back and say Clemson just played defense in the right moments.
Well, exactly, in the right moments. They give up over 500 yards, but I'm watching this game, and their defense is just vicious.
Yeah.
They're all. He's bringing the house too. Venables is bringing. Sweeney and Venables are bringing the house.
The stunts, and on defense, they're look like they're going to blitz a guy, and then he backs up, and another guy blitzes from the other side. They had a good game plan. They have a good coaching staff there. And they've stuck together through this time, and that's why they're in the playoffs every year. That has a lot to do with it.
5 straight years.
Has a lot to do with it. When you got a staff that can stick together and make it through it.
4 in the championship, right?
Yeah.
And they've got 6 5-stars coming back.
So get used to Clemson being. They're going to be around in this.
Well, let me ask you a question, Matt. Did you think, and obviously a lot of people do, what did you think about the penalties? You had the targeting. You had the touchdown that they said Dobbins didn't complete the catch. He had it in his hands. He dove in the end zone. When it hit the ground, the ball come out.
Wasn't it T.O. that had that controversial call?
It was Bryant. Des Bryant.
It was Des.
That was a bad call. I didn't like the targeting call personally.
It seems like since Des had that call at Dow, something has happened. Either I've paid attention more or the calls have changed a little. If you catch the ball and it breaks the goal, I heard one analyst say it's like there's a wall of water up, goes straight up vertically at the line. And when you touch that water wall and it causes a ripple, it's a touchdown. So he's diving, and when he dives and catches, his body's off the ground, he's in the air, he's in the end zone apparently, and then you have to go to the ground with it, get up, pop a bag of popcorn, and give it to the ref. Is that what we're calling for now?
You got to put air in it and varnish it, or put that oil on it. You remember how we used to put that oil on it?
Yeah, I don't like those. And then the targeting stuff, you know how I'm about that.
I'm not a big fan. I don't like the targeting call. But I did agree with the call when Ohio State returned the fumble, and they said the boy didn't make the catch. I did not think he made that catch. That was a broken up pass, I felt.
Yeah, it happened so fast. I think the refs did the right thing originally by letting the play continue. I like that because a lot of times
you go in and make the call, then you reverse it.
Because if they blow the whistle dead and they go back and say that it was a fumble, then you just cost the team a touchdown. But for them to overrule it, for me, I don't see how they turned it over. Because if they called it a fumble, because when you slow it down, yes, he caught the ball and he made 3 steps and the guy swatted it out of his hand. That's a football game.
Exactly. But in real time, it didn't look like he got it.
I know. It's weird. In the real time, if I was a ref, I probably would have called incomplete because it's like bang, catch, jump, step, ball out. You're like, well, he didn't catch it. Incomplete pass. But the ref, he just stared down, hunkered down there on the sideline and watched him carry the end zone. So I'm thinking, well, it's not an incomplete pass. So for them to overturn it, it was strange.
But I really didn't think that it was, even from the start, I like, that boy didn't catch that ball. And that was Ross from Phoenix City.
Yeah.
But again, Trevor Lawrence, wow.
I think it was a catch and fumble, but to overturn the call, though, is odd. I don't know. But the targeting stuff, the LSU Oklahoma, where the guy chipped back.
That was a good call.
Against going back, I don't like that call because he throws his shoulder. Is it a blindside block? Yes. Is it a little chippy football? Yes, I do agree. But it's football. We're playing football, and if we're just going to get into that, you just might as well take the face mask off and put flags on them. I don't like the targeting stuff. And then with this game we're talking about, with the Clemson game, Lawrence has the ball and guy comes in and rocks him.
Well, he did. He rocked him, too.
Did, and Lawrence kind of leaned into it.
He did, and he leaned into it.
So where's the line of knowing how do we even call the game of football if Trevor has the ball and he leans down? If you squat down to make the contact, it's like with a safety coming downhill and running back comes out and he ducks down, and the safety's already went down.
They hit helmet to helmet
because you're supposed to play it as the top skill is shoulder and head to the butt. That's what you're taught to. Your shoulder goes in the midsection, the head goes toward the butt, and you wrap up. But once you're down in that position, and then Trevor kind of ducked his head.
He did duck. He did definitely duck. And then they throw the guy out, and the game completely changes.
I thought more of the Chase Young grabbing around his neck was a little more unnecessary. Not bad, because again, I like football, and I think that's football. It's tough.
Yeah.
And did Trevor, was he hurt? Did he come up with that little left arm kind of wince? Was he selling it a little bit, maybe?
He looked like he was hurt. I don't know.
He got up after the call. He seemed like he was fine. Maybe he sold you a little bit. I'm not a fan of those targeting calls. Before the show, we talked about how we assume. We're just assuming. I don't know nothing. That's to help the receivers come across the field, lay it out for a catch,
and stop cheap shots.
And a corner or safety just knock the guy's head off. But they've just got a little excessive with the targeting, and throwing the kids out. That's another story. I don't like just throwing a kid out. I know you're trying to make a precedent, and I know the reason behind this is for their safety.
Right.
I do understand that.
But you're punishing a lot of kids.
I don't know about throwing them out. Maybe give them a penalty.
I think it ought to be a 15-yarder and maybe a warning. And if they do it twice, unsportsmanlike.
It seems like it ought to be in the judgment more of the refs, and they have just kind of went to.
No, they're done.
Here's what it is. Here's the rule. Clear case cut. No matter how we see it, there's no variations of a penalty.
No.
If a head hits a head, you're out. I don't.
See, I didn't agree, and I know nobody will agree with this. You may not even agree with it, but I didn't like to run into the kicker penalty. He ran into him. I mean, how could he keep from not running into it?
And it didn't vary his kick. So that's what. I don't like that neither. But that's.
I mean, it didn't block it. If you block it, you can knock him from here to the red light.
Yeah.
But
that's right.
But if you don't block it, you better not touch him.
Right.
I don't know. I think that needs to be amended some. But that being said, Lawrence stepped up.
Before halftime, he made that big run, scooted up the middle, went up the sideline, did a little tiptoe.
No, that's a game winner.
It was. It changed the game. And Ohio State just didn't step up there and play defense at some inopportune moments. They missed some plays that they should have got back. And the coach, I watched him after the game, Coach Day, and he never, maybe he did later, so I don't want to be false in this. I never heard him say, we just played a good team in Clemson. And
no, he didn't.
And they're good, and we're going to lick our wounds. We're going to go back and fix this. I got a lot of young guys. We're going to be backing this, guys. Y'all keep your heads up. He was on the table, both arms up, leaned up on the mic. He was mad. You could tell he was mad.
He was upset with the calls.
Yeah, and you can't blame it on the calls. Because if a call, the game shouldn't be that close anyway for a call to cost you a game.
Well, whether you had the calls or not, you still had a 67-yard run by Lawrence, a 94-4-play, 94-yard drive with 2 minutes left.
Yes, when he dumped the pass to ETM, that won the game for him. And then Fields throwed the pass at the end of the game. Guy turns off the wrong way.
If he'd thrown it the other way, it'd probably been a touchdown. But he didn't.
Right, and the refs didn't have nothing to do with that. So
I thought they went for the end zone a little early.
Clemson went for 2. There that was a big play.
Yeah. Well, they had to. They would have made them force them to get the extra point.
That carried some momentum. I think the 2-point conversion really spirited their sidelines even more.
Yeah.
To feel like they could win this game, and Clemson just finds a way to win. No, and they hadn't played anybody this year. Their schedule is weak.
That's what we say. That's what we even say.
But for a lot of the commentators, they felt like Ohio State was the best team in the country. They were number one.
They were good. There's no doubt about that.
And you kind of felt like Clemson was being snobbed. So for Clemson to win it, and how they did to come back and win it, and have a couple of big plays there, one before half, and they just kind of shut down Ohio State there in the second half pretty much.
I thought so. I mean, Ohio State gained their yards, but when it came time to score, they didn't. They had the one touchdown pass, and it was on 4th down.
And honestly, looking back, the 2 big runs that Dobbins had for Ohio State, he stuck his foot in the ground, just got upfield and outrun those guys. That's really the only big plays they had. Really, I mean, think about it.
They didn't have any other big plays.
No.
I mean, you'll like this stat. Dobbins had 141 yards rushing in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Finished with 174.
Well, he tweaked his ankle. Something was going on. I don't know.
Him going out didn't help.
No, absolutely it didn't.
He caught a bunch of passes, too.
Yeah.
That little...
ETN's the first running back to have 2 receiving touchdowns and rush for 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah, heard that. Yeah.
And Dobbins went over 2,000, so he's Ohio State's all-time leading rusher in the season. It's pretty good company.
He throttled Michigan. I got some notes on that when we do the Bama Michigan review stuff in a minute. So looks like, guys, I'd pick Clemson play LSU. Looks like I was right. I'd pick Clemson
Yeah,
early.
you were right.
I think I picked Clemson earlier to win it again.
Mm-hmm.
So, just being a man of my convictions, I'm gonna stick with my pick, but I don't know how. I don't know how Venables is going to put something together. But if anybody can do it, Dean,
It's him.
he's the guy to put something together to try to shake up this LSU defense and maybe, watch some other games. How did Auburn play them? How did Bama play them? The teams that played LSU close. So these guys are going to knock it out, and down there in New Orleans.
Well, that's the thing. They're in their backyard.
I thought about this. Now this is a dumb assessment. Maybe it's just my mind thinking. It is good for them to be close to home, but Todd, could it also be a negative because they may be a little relaxed because they are close to home?
Close to home. And they're hammering everybody.
Yeah. So is it a little? Could it be?
Well, I think the thing with this LSU team is they know when to pick it up. I mean, where they were so ready for Alabama. I mean, they were prepared.
Yeah. After the game, the videos, they act like that was the title game.
Yeah. I mean, they knew after they won that they had a legitimate shot, and they won it. Which I'm not saying Clemson doesn't. They do too.
Yeah, they did deserve it.
And Lawrence,
they won their game.
Lawrence has played in 85 ball games and won 83 of them since high school.
Yeah.
And the worst game he's ever had in his high school career, Matt just happened to be at.
Yeah. Georgia Dome.
But you remember that game he was overthrowing people.
Bad.
It wasn't that he was just making terrible.
But they run the ball so well that game, and their defense at Carswell was just killing those guys.
Yeah, somebody asked me, said, they get beat? I said, no, they won 58-7.
Yeah, it was like 38-0 at halftime. I was like,
And he didn't do good? I'm like, no, he didn't do good at all.
15 for
35, wasn't
it
he?
wasn't great. Maybe he was nervous, I don't know.
Well, he was just a junior. But he'd won it the year before. So he's a winner.
Well,
He is a winner. Of course, Burrow's a winner, too. I mean, so you got both of them coming in 14-0. This is
January 13th.
It's going to be a classic matchup.
So we got 2 weeks of LSU and Clemson, and they're going to cut that story as many ways they can to try to, make it about the quarterbacks and their style is. Do you think they're similar in style? Maybe that's a good question.
I think so. I think they are.
Trevor run it more than I expected him to.
That's the most yards he's ever rushed for in a game. He had 107 yards rushing. He's never. I don't even know if he did that in high school.
It seems like they would just. Man, Ohio State would get those first downs. That first half, like every time, they would get just enough. And when Clemson would get down there, Ohio State would attack at the point of the ball. I mean, Clemson couldn't get a first down hardly. They struggled. And they adjusted, and they had a big break on that big run play by Trevor, and that kind of just got them believing again. They're like, okay, hey, we're in this. It's not over, guys.
I still say that was the turning point of the game.
Yeah, it was.
They won't say the hit on the targeting and the hitting the kicker, and getting the 15-yarder. But I think the
It does change the game.
67-yard run by Lawrence, that stuff didn't help. Didn't help Ohio State any, but that 67, you can't let a guy. I don't know that Lawrence had rushed for 200 yards this year.
I don't think so. And like I said, what we was talking about, they come to play. They're prepared, and congratulations to Dabo and Coach O. And
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, I don't think
we'll
anybody.
find out.
That's two good coaches, two well-liked coaches, and hats off to the offensive coordinator for LSU. He lost his daughter-in-law
Yeah,
before the game.
yeah. Joe didn't know it till after the game. Did you see that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they some way had told him after the game, and probably a good thing, I guess. You don't need to be dealing with that, but the guys up there trying to make calls, and his son's wife passed away. She's a local sports person there from
She
New Orleans
was,
that was
yeah.
coming out, to the game to cover.
Plane crash.
Yeah, prayers for that family. That's got to be tough. She's a beautiful young lady, career in sportscasting there, and the guy hung in there, and obviously his son told him, "Hey, look,
Yeah, I
there
would
ain't
think.
nothing you can do here, Dad. You played your game, and
That's what I think happened. I heard a couple people maybe being tad, not bad, but a little bit critical.
what is he doing there? Right?
Yeah, why is he at this game? And I'm pretty sure his family said go on. I remember when I was in high school, we had a young man that father got killed on a Friday, and we had a basketball game that night. And the boy's mother said go on and play in the game.
Yeah, that's what his daddy would want him to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he did. That don't mean he wasn't hurt, but he went on and played. And you see that, and I don't look down on the guy for doing that.
So the Peach Bowl ends 63-28 LSU, and the Fiesta, of course, LSU hangs on and makes a great comeback and win 29-23.
Clemson, yeah, 29-23.
So other than that, looks like we're going to preview now, guys, the Georgia, Baylor, Sugar, Oregon, Wisconsin, and Florida, Virginia, the Orange, and then we're going to hit on Bama, Michigan, Auburn, Minnesota. So what we like about the Sugar Bowl, Georgia, Baylor, they both got something to prove, or do they not?
Well, after watching Oklahoma, I don't know. Georgia, they're going to be a little down, I think, because they didn't get in this playoff. But had they beaten LSU, they would have got in. And they may be a little down and not be as motivated to play in this game. And their best lineman sitting out. He's not playing in the game. And obviously, we know what that's about, the draft. And Georgia just hasn't looked well to me lately.
Since we're on Georgia, and we just talked about Justin Fields, Ohio State, and they lost that close game there. Here's a comment. You can go on Facebook to our show, the Matt and Todd Show. Georgia fans, how do you feel about Justin Fields being in the playoffs, but you kept Fromm around,
Mm-hmm.
and he failed miserably there.
He didn't have a good year.
He didn't have a good year against LSU for sure. They didn't score, but they averaged 3 or 4 touchdowns a game most of all those
Got
games.
10 points that game.
I think that what are we talking about, the Rose Bowl? He come in as a red shirt. They pulled him out there and put him out there, and he beat Michigan. Fromm did. And they played in they felt like, okay, he's our guy.
Right.
He was the hero after the game, and he was so excited and just a bright-eyed young kid, and they thought we're only going to go up from here. And I did too. I felt like, okay.
Well, they nearly
Kirby's made a turn.
beat Alabama.
Right, and I thought, well, this is it. And
Twice. Nearly beat them twice.
They just could not move the ball. So I'm looking for them to play inspired. I'm looking for them to beat Baylor.
I think they're better than Baylor. I
I'm
don't
looking
think
for them
there's
to beat
any doubt
Baylor.
about that. And I do think they'll hold on, but it could be, it could be a repeat. I don't think it'll be a repeat of last year. I think they learned from that in the Sugar Bowl against Texas, and they've got another shot at this. And, the LSU game wasn't really close.
No.
And last year they had a big lead on Alabama, 2 touchdowns, and lost it. And they were really down about that and went into the Sugar Bowl and lost to Texas. But I don't think we'll see that. I think they'll come on and have a good game. Swift's playing, Fromm's playing. They've got their receivers playing. They do have their best lineman out, which that probably won't help the run game. But, I think they're better than Baylor. And Baylor's down to the second and third team quarterback.
Hey, that guy was dropping dimes. Me
Yeah,
and Marcus
he
was
did.
watching the game. Me and Marcus watched, and he noticed how good the pass he's making. I said, that's their third string quarterback.
Right.
He played a good game. So I'm gonna stick with Georgia.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with
Sugar.
Georgia.
We're gonna have sugar pouring out of the sky.
But I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
1980.
1980.
Well, sugar fell out of the sky and Georgia won the sugar.
Sugar falling, what was that, hobnail boot?
Yes.
He stepped on him with a hobnail boot.
Love that stuff, man.
Yeah, Larry Munson, he was great.
What about Jonathan Taylor's going to have a big night, I assume, in the Rose Bowl against Oregon. I look for him to go wild and have a 200-yard rushing game. What do you think?
I don't, Wisconsin, after watching Ohio State and how good they, even though they lost, I mean, you can't deny that they were good. And Wisconsin hung with them. And I don't even know that this will be a close game.
Really? You thinking big?
Well, I mean, what I say by that.
3 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. 2, maybe, I don't think 3, maybe 2 touchdowns, 17 points, something like that. I do think Oregon's fast. We saw that. We watched them play Auburn. They can fly, but I think Wisconsin's just a lot more physical.
At the point of attack, Wisconsin's big. Their defensive line has always been known to. They got some big guys up there, and they're going to plug the ball, man. They're going to run the ball, and they're going to play defense. I think that plays in their advantage. They're going to keep the clock slow and wind it out.
And Taylor is one of the best backs in the country.
And keep the ball out of Herbert Sam's from scoring so quickly.
Yeah, Herbert is good. I mean, we watched Oregon, and they can score quick.
Yeah.
But, Auburn held them out. I think they scored 21 against Auburn. And I just think with Wisconsin, the way they play, the style that they play, it's going to be too much for Oregon.
Now, what about Virginia and the Gators? Gators and Virginia going to play in the Orange Bowl. Florida fired up about this. Look, these bowl games, Todd, you got Orange, Rose, Sugar. These are good bowl games, and I hope that some of the kids don't take them lightly. These are big bowls. These bowl games have been around a long time, so I'm hoping, the Orange Bowl here, I hope Florida comes there and shows up and represents the conference and beats Virginia.
Well, I personally would have liked to have seen a Florida-Penn State matchup. Big Ten, SEC.
Right.
And maybe hook Memphis and Virginia up, but that's not what they did. And now you get this, and the only thing, you get a game like this, and this may be a good game because Florida could have a letdown. They're number 9, and I think Virginia's 24. I don't really understand the matchup.
They feel uninspired.
And right, and they've only lost 2 games this year. They lost to Georgia and LSU, and I don't think they're. It's a game that have a letdown. I mean, it's very possible that they could have a letdown in this game.
Yeah,
because I'm sure they think that they've. I mean, it's just normal in a kid's mind. We've got this.
Virginia's quarterback, I've watched him play some of that game with Clemson, whatever. Man, he's pretty good. He's not terrible, and I don't think he's.
No, I don't think Virginia's bad.
He's not going to throw for 500 yards.
But I don't think they're even on the same level as Florida. But with that being said, how does Florida even come into this game? They may come in, let's get this over with.
Maybe Dan can fire them up and get them through to the next level.
Well, the good thing about it for Florida, you get a win there and you finish in the top 8, and that's good. That's good for recruiting. And, of course, Florida probably don't have a whole lot of trouble recruiting anyway. But
no, that area is always loaded.
And Mullen's done a good job there. So I do think Florida will, once they may be kind of tied at first, and I'm assuming they won't have a letdown. I'm saying it's a possibility they could, but I think Florida finishes that off pretty good.
I think Florida's going to need 28 by the half to win the game. Well, that's the preview on those. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Bama, Michigan, Citrus, and Auburn, Minnesota Outback Bowl. Y'all stay tuned, and thank you again for tuning in. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. WDKR, the Matt and Todd shows. Big Matt, Diamond Dean. We're going to touch on the Bama Michigan game right here for a second. We're going to go back and look at Michigan and how they've performed in probably two of their bigger games as they get ready for the Citrus Bowl. Shea Patterson has been pretty good. Let's look at Michigan, Todd. When they played Ohio State, Michigan's 13. Ohio State was number 1 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan drove right down the field. All right, but J.K. Dobbins answered back pretty quick. Ohio's defense, they stood up, made it a 14-6 game. They had a pass to the end zone there, made it 14-13. So it looks like Shea Patterson's not bad. I think Harbaugh's worked with him, and he catches a lot of heat. But hadn't he had 10 win games? He's won 10 games each season he's been there.
I think he's done well up there, especially coming out of Ole Miss and them not doing real well when he was there. And he can run the football, and he throws it good. He got over 2,800 yards passing this year?
So he's had a lot of 10-win seasons. J.K. Dobbins was on fire again. Looks like he had scored again later there, made it 21-13. Michigan fumbled on the 10 going in right before the half. Then they had a big pass and field goals, and J.K.
It got away from him
J.K.
late.
run one in, made it 27-13. That seemed like that was kind of the turning point there. It was right before halftime. They had to they dropped one there in the end zone. It was a great passing drive, but they wound up having to settle for the field goal, which had made it then 27-16. Starting in the second half, looks like Fields to Dobbins had some big plays. Dobbins was definitely the guy. They scrambled around for a touchdown and had scored again. It winds up being 41-16 later. Michigan had to punt, drop by Wilson, and they only wound up getting 3 out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Haskins starts the fourth quarter, made it 42-25. They run the Wildcat for a 2-point conversion, made it 42-27.
Then it ended
But Ohio State answered back again quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like 7 minutes left, made it 49-27. So Dobbins had answered again. He had 4 rushing touchdowns in that game, and Patterson threw a pick with 5 minutes left. 56-27, like the final. That was the ball game.
It was really a better game than that. I thought Michigan
It looked
played
like a
well.
better game. If
Yeah.
you look at it on paper, it don't look
Played
like
well
it was a close game.
through 3 quarters.
Looks like third down conversion. Michigan was 2 for 13. That's not good.
No, that's pretty bad.
Ohio State was 9 for
15%.
Total yards today, Ohio State had 577 at home on Michigan.
Lord.
And 264 was rushing, and guess who? It was Mr. Dobbins. He's a great running back. They control the clock with 36 minutes of time there. Michigan had 91 yards rushing. Just make a big circle around that. Michigan 91 yards rushing against 264. And Ohio State passed for 313. Michigan passed for 305.
And Alabama's pretty good against the run.
So,
they struggle with some pass defense, and they give up some rushing yards, but overall, we can't sit here and say that Alabama's just bad against the run. No, they're not.
they got enough dudes down there to make plays. I think they fare well with Michigan. Michigan later then, they played Notre Dame on a terrible, remember that rainy game? It rained all the game. Michigan was 19 at the time. Notre Dame's 18, so you're thinking it's going to be a great game. And, fumbles, and they had a punt block. Michigan went up 3 minutes pretty quick. There's your number 25, Haskins. From Michigan, he had the big runs, 24. Charmaina had a touchdown run, made it 10-0. Hutchinson on Michigan defense. This guy's one to watch, Todd. Keep an eye on this guy. He's going to make some plays out there. Charmaine had another touchdown run, made it 17-0. Notre Dame offense had no answers, it seemed like, during this part of the game. They scored late, made it 17-7. Haskins had another big run. Peoples-Jones had a touchdown. Keep on him, number 9. This guy's a playmaker at Michigan. Had a passing touchdown later on, made it 31-7. Notre Dame fumbled late. Looks like it wound up being 45-14.
Wow.
And
that was a shocker. I remember being shocked by that when I saw it, but I do think what makes this offense go is Patterson.
Yeah. Well, you have the Peoples-Jones guy and Hutchinson and Sharp. They got some playmakers up there in Michigan. Let's not overlook it and think Alabama's just going to romp them. I don't think
they're going to romp them, but I do think they're. Well, I think it's going to be closer. I don't think it's going to be a blowout because Diggs is not playing, and Terrell Lewis, who's a good rusher, is not playing, and Patterson's shifty. Now, he can run, which Alabama's pretty good at putting pressure on people, but I don't think overall.
Notre Dame rushing, they had 5 attempts for 15 yards. Smith did. Haskins had 20 carries for 150, which they wound up with 303 rushing on 57 attempts.
Against Notre Dame.
Yeah, with 437 total yards, where Notre Dame only had 180 total yards with only 12 first downs. Michigan had 23 first downs. It looked like the time of possession, Michigan had more than 10 minutes more, and Notre Dame turned the ball over twice. But they both had about 133 passes, 134 passes, passing yards. So it was pretty close in passing, but right there, the big circle is around this. 303 yards rushing. Michigan had their way with Notre Dame running the ball.
And I'll be honest with you, Matt, I don't see them having their way running the ball against Alabama.
I don't either.
I just don't see it. And, I'm not saying Ohio State was better than Alabama this year, and I believe that, especially with Tua out. But, them receivers, they're playmakers for Alabama. And Jones can get them the ball. And Michigan's all right on defense, but, Auburn was good on defense, is very good on defense, too. And Alabama had 566 yards against them.
Well, keep eye on those couple of players that we was talking about. These guys are playmakers. They're going to make some plays for Michigan, and I assume that it's going to be an interesting game for quite some time.
I think it will be an interesting game. I do not think it'll be a blowout.
If Michigan gets the ball first, Todd, do you think they go down and score?
Maybe a field goal.
They're going to hold
maybe
them
a field goal.
I can go along with that.
I don't think a touchdown, but I do think they'll have some shining moments, but I don't think it'll be enough to. I just think Alabama's better than them.
And Michigan
simply put.
Recruited fairly well. They hang around up there. Jim's, he's just had some trouble. Like I said earlier, he's had all these 10-win seasons. And Alabama's had more 10-win seasons than anybody there. So,
it's saving well, there's a lot to play for here. They're going to go.
Why
they're 10 and 2.
They won't get rid of Harbaugh. Why? Because he can't beat Ohio State. There's such a tag.
Ohio State's been pretty good since he's been in Michigan. So.
Yes, and that's the thing, because Urban Meyer, my opinion, built a SEC-style caliber team in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell, look how they play. And they wound up with Georgia's quarterback up there.
And he's awesome.
Yeah, and they beat Michigan, which we kind of picked them to, but Michigan played them a good game.
They did. It was closer than the score.
Yeah, a fumble here, mess up, third down, they dropped it over there, and the score wouldn't have been as bad.
I will say this, I do think that, like I said, Michigan will have some bright moments in the Alabama game, but I
some guys up there.
I don't think they will beat them.
So it looks like pick-wise, looks like Bama, Michigan, looks like we're both being Bama's here. We are picking Bama. I got Bama 36-24 over Michigan. Todd looks like he's going with 28-19.
28-19. I may change that. Change that to 31-19.
31-19. Let's put that on there.
31.
31-19. We're betting one of those pecan pies and those little aluminum tins. That's what we bet on. I love those things.
The one by the other one.
Yeah. All right. What about
either that or some pimento? Wicked pimento.
The wicked pimento up here.
Hey, if you get a chance, go up to the GMC and get some of that pimento cheese.
That's good, man. We eat like the whole thing on the way home with a pack of chips or something, dipping in there.
It's awesome.
What about Auburn, Minnesota? What you got on? What about old Fleck? Is he rowing the boat? Is he going to row right on down there to the Outback Bowl? He's going to put something on Auburn, or what we got?
Well, I'll tell you what, this is going to be a lot better game than people are expecting. I'm sure a lot of people in this area think Auburn's just going to come here and roll over in this game. But Minnesota has played some good ball this year. They lost to Iowa. Their 2 losses are to Iowa, and they did get hammered by Wisconsin. But they also beat Penn State, and their quarterbacks put up a lot of good numbers this year.
How's teams running against Minnesota? Are they run stoppers? Basically, I'm not only seeing them play one.
They don't give up a lot of yards rushing. They give up about 300 yards of total offense, about 180 passing, about maybe 130 rushing.
So Tyler have a good game on him. I assume he probably did.
Oh yeah, he did. Very good. But come on, let's be for real. He averages 150. He had 150 against Ohio State.
Yeah.
So he's going to get his more than likely.
No mention for the Heisman for Jones Taylor, 0.
Didn't even get him back.
But we invited Chase Young that made hardly, I don't think, any plays last night. Trevor Lawrence will spin moving off him and off that end.
He didn't have a tackle for a loss last night. He did have 2 tackles.
Again, that's what people need to pump their brakes on, that defensive stuff. You have got to be some kind of super freak on defense.
Yeah,
to win
intercepting
Heisman.
2 or 3 passes a game.
Just something crazy.
Well, you get into that. You get into that. Chase Young, and he did have a good year. I saw where he had 16.5 sacks, 7 forced fumbles, which that's great. But he gets invited up there.
John Taylor.
Taylor doesn't. This Simmons, this linebacker for Clemson's got 100 tackles. 13 or 14 of them's for a loss. And if you saw the game last night, he had an interception on a deep ball.
Yeah.
His name's never mentioned.
Yeah.
So I'm like you. I don't like the getting into the defensive
The
players.
Heisman stuff is about
Coming.
who's the best players are on the best team. That's just what they're trying to do that. But anyway, Minnesota's not going to be able just to stop. Now, Booby, he's going to play at Auburn. So you healthy, everything's good to go.
Yes, baby's fine. As far as I know, right now he is, and he can have a lot of yards. I mean, he's gained over 700 yards this year. He ran well against Alabama. Minnesota does have a first-team All-American defensive back.
All right.
Antoine Winfield Jr. I remember his dad played at Ohio State. He's got 7 interceptions. So obviously, Auburn may be working away from him.
Yeah.
And
So it's going to depend on Bo making good decisions.
I think it's going to come down to defense. I think Minnesota's pretty good on offense. They got a good quarterback. They've got 2,000-yard receivers. Their quarterback, Tanner Morgan, has thrown for 3,000 yards this year. But I just think Auburn's defense is going to be too much. Kind of overwhelm them a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that Auburn's going to beat them to death and score 100 points. I mean, they're not going to have to.
Yeah, their defense is going to keep them in the game, and we'll see how Gus feels maybe inspired after the embarrassing loss last year against UCF. If he's going to come in this year and think, he's already got the extension anyway, so I hope that he approaches the game with a full heart of intending on representing the conference well.
Well, it's a tough matchup. It's
Auburn's going to need, in my opinion, 4 touchdowns to beat these guys.
I would think at least, and I think they'll get it. I think Auburn's a little better, but I do think it's a good matchup for Auburn. I don't think they're going to roll over them.
Now, so it looks like you got Auburn 27, Minnesota 21. You got a 6-point game. I got 28-17 Auburn. And honestly, we're going to find out if Minnesota's ready to play with some big dogs down here in the South, because it could be that score at half.
Well, I think that
hey, look, Booby gets in there and goes nuts. He's got 100 yards rushing at the half, and Bo hooks up for 12 for 15.
Right.
We're talking about halftime, and he's had some good plays down the field. And some of these corners can't cover. Hey, Auburn could go up pretty quick, 14-0.
and we figure obviously they're going to stay away from Winfield. It's first team All-American, 7 interceptions. I don't see them. They're not going to pick on him. They're not even going to try to. They're going to find out where he is and probably go away from it. But I think the difference in the ball game is the line of scrimmage with Auburn's defense.
Somebody down in the trenches with the dogs.
And that defensive line, of course, they're still playing.
Yeah, Auburn's got one guy out. Not a guy that's not playing.
Yeah, Nick Cole. I looked at his stats this year. He's got 15 tackles, 3 for a loss.
Yeah.
But he's not one of their main linemen. And their linebackers are playing, their DBs. They're pretty stout on defense. I think it's going to come down to Auburn's defense is going to perform.
So, talking about the players sitting out, I heard
They're going to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback.
one of the announcers talking about the players sitting out. It was one Rodney, somebody, I think it was in maybe the Eastern Michigan game. He said, what's unfortunate with these players sitting out, he said, I understand that they have a future to think about, and there's money on the table, and there could be, an injury, but you've played a lot of games where you have not been injured, so odds are you're probably not going to get injured, 1. And 2, this was an aspect that I hadn't thought of this way. It puts pressure on your teammates, because somebody's got to play that spot that you've been playing, and usually it's a playmaker.
Right.
So the second team guy has probably not got any reps during the year, and you're going to take out a 5-star guy, say a defensive end or somebody, and put in a second string guy. It's going to affect the game. So
Right.
if you're really a team guy, my opinion, which is worth nothing, you're going to stick it out with your team. You're going to do everything you can for your team to try to get that win. Or you're going to sit out and make one of your counterparts, your guy that's worked out behind you during the spring, come in here and try to play well enough to win the game for you, for your team. I just don't like all the setting out.
Well, see, I think it's going to hurt Alabama. I think that's why. I still think they'll win, but I think that's why it'll be closer than it would have been because Lewis and Diggs aren't playing. I mean, Lewis is vicious on the pass rush. I mean, he's very good. And I just think that, I just think that Minnesota also, I'm jumping around here, but their second leading tackler is sitting this game out. And that's going to be in Auburn's favor as well.
I don't like that. I don't like the kids setting out. It does, like the guy said, it puts unneeded pressure on another guy to, hey, but the guy's coming in, I've been that guy. All right,
sometimes they perform.
Let's go in and get it. Hey, this is my chance. I'm going to shine. But, what about the kids that don't play the bowl game, but we're going to play our senior bowl? Man, come on.
Are they really doing that?
Yeah. Why? So that means you're saying to me, you don't want to get hurt, so you're not playing the bowl game because in the senior bowl, nobody's really trying to knock nobody out.
Right. It's kind of
pass your stat padding a little bit to show how you can jump and run and keep up with the
right.
game.
Right.
So
it's kind of a just take them down kind of. Oh, and I know I'm going back to the Clemson-Ohio State game. Well, that's the hardest hitting game I've seen in a long time.
I agree. One of the announcers there had said that.
That was
I heard
vicious.
today. He was on the sideline. He said, man, these guys are teeing. They're knocking each other out. They're both working hard. Kurt Herbstreit heard before the game. He said he'd went to both locker rooms earlier and talked to them, which I'm sure y'all heard this too. It's interesting. He said, I've never been so undecided on a game. He said, I'd go talk to Dabo. He's like, hey, we got this. This is our game. We're going to win. Then you go talk to Coach Day, and he said, hey, we got this. This is our game. We're going to win. He said, I've never come out of the locker room feeling like,
well, who's going to win?
Who's going to win this game? Because they both say that they're going to win. Nobody really says, well, the other team's good and we're going to have to work hard. And they both were set in, we're going to win this game.
Well, I got to say, I was shocked.
And the score showed it.
I was shocked.
The score did show it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it went down to the wire. But it was just a great game and like a ton of hard hits. I mean, just vicious hits all throughout the game. And I'll say this about Kirk Herbstreit. A lot of people don't like Herbstreit.
I do.
But you'll never know he went to Ohio State hearing him call a game.
Not really. No, I think he does a great job with keeping it.
He's not biased.
Yeah.
I mean, if they make a play, he'll say, like on the strip, he said, I think that's going to be a touchdown. But then 10 minutes later, Clemson gets a call, and he's like, I think that's a good call. I think I did the right thing. He don't show much bias.
Yeah.
He's better than people think. Then he gets credit for it.
Yeah. Well, folks, there it kind of has it. That's all for our regular show. We're going to come back in just a minute and do just a few little side notes here, some things that are not really college football related. So we'll be right back in just a minute. Thank you for tuning in at WDKR. We'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. This is Big Matt and Diamond Dean. This is our side note show, just little things to cause questions and comments and get you going on our page. Go on our Facebook page, the Matt and Todd Show, and give us some comments about what you think about these topics. Just something to spark some interest, Todd. What do you think about the Cowboys with Coach Garrett? What do they got going on out there?
Well, I believe it's time for a change.
Yeah.
And I think he's done a good job. We go through this about every 2 years, probably more than that, but I think it's probably really time.
Well, I watched, if any of you got listeners ever watch Truth or Dab, it's the guy that does the hot sauce show with the guys on YouTube. I like it. It's pretty cool. He had Shannon and Skip on there. You have to tell the truth. And if you don't want to tell the truth, you have to eat a bite of the hot chicken wing.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked Skip, something to the lines of, who's the most annoying fan base that you can honestly say, that exists out there? And Shannon said, you better tell the truth. I know what the truth is. You're going to tell the truth. And Skip did. He owned up to it and said, this Cowboy Nation, we're some of the most arrogant fans out there. We feel like we should always be winning.
Right.
We're America's team. So when they don't do well, it's always a big topic, as well as with Alabama. When they don't do well, there's a lot to talk about. And so I agree. It's time for them to move on. How do you feel about, just my opinion, maybe like a Troy Aikman taking over as new owner and get Jerry Jones out of the way? Because I don't see a new coach wanting to come. They offered that job to Saban years ago, supposedly.
Right.
I don't see a new coach wanting to come and work under Jerry Jones because he talks so much about stuff.
Is there talk about Meyer being brought in?
Yes, it's there. And they asked him on, Colin Cowherd asked him, and he said, pretty much he just said, it would be an honor, and I'm just excited that my name's even mentioned in the conversation.
Uh-huh.
To be a coach of the Dallas Cowboys, man, who wouldn't want to be the coach? I mean, he was real humbled by it. So he said, I hadn't had any calls. None of my people's talked to their people. So if Urban was to get the job, number one, if Troy Aikman was to be the new owner and Urban Meyer come in as a head coach, they'd be good.
I don't really know who they're going to hire. It's no telling, but I do think they're going to make a change this time. And I think Mike Jones probably likes Garrett, but he's there's too much of an outcry for him to get rid of him.
Jerry just says way too many things.
I think it's probably done.
That's one topic, guys. What do y'all think about the Cowboys and Coach Garrett? Are they moving on? What do you think about Troy Aikman being the owner? Think it's crazy? What about Urban Meyer being the coach? Is that, what do you think?
That's possible. He's never tried his hand at the pro game, has he?
No, but sticking with the NFL, I know everybody's read 100 times about Marshawn Lynch coming back to Seattle. Your thoughts on him, maybe? He averaged 4 yards a carry in 6 out of 8 seasons. What do you think about Marshawn? I know he's not going to be their premier back, but will he help add something to the team? Maybe is there bad blood there still a little?
I don't know, man. I just don't see it. They've got 2 good running backs. I mean, Pete Carroll said a month ago that he was really enjoying the season that his 2 running backs were having.
Yeah.
That don't sound to me like a guy that's going to slip somebody else, Lynch, in for one of them. That's Chris Carson. I think the other one's last name's Penny.
Yes.
And I don't see it. I don't see it. He's not going to be a factor.
He's not going to be the guy that we know that used to just show out, because he is definitely beast mode.
Well, he hasn't played in a while.
This guy was bad. He's a bad boy in his prime, man. Marshawn Lynch was one kind of dude you didn't want to tackle.
Right.
Probably, if you made him outside the stadium,
you just walked the other way.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he's a tough guy. Sticking with football, here's another question. Guys, this side note show here, y'all go on Facebook here, the Matt and Todd Show. Tell us what you feel about, how does the Texas fan base feel about Mac Brown and his season, winning at NC. They beat Temple 55-13.
Went 7-6.
If you're a Texas fan, Todd, what are you feeling right now? Because your season hadn't went as well planned. They come out hot. We thought it was going to do great. Of course, LSU beat them opening game.
Mm-hmm.
And they've just kind of stumbled and bumbled around. And so how do you feel? They run old Mac off because of politics, basically, I feel like.
I think they felt like Mac was getting the people in there.
He wasn't recruiting like
Which he actually, what's weird about that is he's recruiting great at North Carolina. They did well, top 20.
It seems like if they couldn't win their Big 12, they were ready to move on at his age and whatnot. And that just tells you it's a dog-eat-dog world, no matter who you are, or Mac Brown, he's the granddaddy. Is he not in the Big 12? Was he not? He's the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
After Osborne left, definitely.
There was some times that he maybe should have won a national championship, and yes, they did win with Vince Young, and yes, he did take Colt McCoy and then went out there and Bama beat them.
Right, Bama beat them.
But Nebraska probably should have won that game because Colt throws the ball away and the time runs off in the clock.
Time runs off. They put a second
back on the clock. So I'll never forget the look on Colt McCoy's face. You remember that when he's on his nose?
Oh, man, it was over.
His eyes was big, and he was like, I just blew. But anyway.
I never did like that call.
I didn't either. I thought Donald Kung Sue and that Nebraska team were.
And that was, and you know why we both do. I've got a heart for Nebraska. I've got a heart for Nebraska football, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like the call. The time ran out.
Well, they wanted to see Texas play Alabama. Let's just be honest.
Who was going to play Alabama if they didn't?
I don't know. We've talked about that. It wouldn't have been Nebraska. I don't think they.
No, it wouldn't have been Nebraska.
So
they had 3 losses.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
It would have looked bad for the BCS, what they were doing then. They were trying to play 1 and 2. And maybe there's not false things involved. I don't know. So,
but personally, you asked the question. I don't know that Texas is really.
Is their fans a little like, hey, you know, we should have maybe, I don't know, should we? He's doing a good job out there. So, you know, here's the last topic for side notes. All right, Todd, there's no right or wrong answer. Listeners, please, the Matt and Todd Show, 2019 at gmail.com. That's our email. Be more than glad to take emails and everything, but don't kill us for this. I know you young guys out there listening, maybe this is about the NBA, and we're just giving our own opinions about our own Mount Rushmore of NBA, because some of the other guys have talked about it and give their picks for Mount Rushmore players, their best 4. So
is this all time?
Yes, just all around your best players. Maybe if you didn't get to watch them, but still the ones we know. And let me go ahead and put this out here. Me and Marcus have this argument a lot. You come to the house and me and we're arguing about Michael LeBron and company.
Right.
Wilt Chamberlain does not count. It's not fair to put it. Wilt Chamberlain is the mountain that they're carving the faces on.
So we're doing everybody but Wilt.
Yes, it's just not fair because he was just a man playing with a bunch of little boys out there.
He was top.
He don't count. So for me, now this is for me.
So we can't put Wilt on there.
No.
Okay.
Just personally, I like Kareem, not in any order. I like Magic. I like Larry Bird. And I like MJ. I like Michael Jordan on those. Okay, so that's just Kareem, Magic, Jordan, and Bird. That's just me.
Well,
and I watched 3 of those guys play. I missed some of Kareem. He was kind of coming out when I was young. I don't really remember, you know, that the coverage wasn't there for us to see West Coast teams play a lot out here.
I'm gonna go with Jordan.
All right.
Okay, Kareem, Magic. But I may be doing this to. I'm disagreeing with you on the last one. I'm not really disagreeing with you, but I'm gonna go on just to make this generation happy. Go on, stick LeBron on there.
Okay. All right. So you
now, I'm not saying he's better than them other 3.
There's no order. You like LeBron, Magic, Kareem, and Jordan. That's your Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
Now, and backing up some of those, I think everybody knows Kareem was the greatest scorer. We knew the hook shot was coming. You knew when you're standing in the paint, it's coming. There's nothing you could do about it. Larry Bird, to me, was one of the most competitive, most physical guys you could ever seen play the game. Him and Magic together changed the game of basketball. And speaking on Magic, he changed basketball.
No, he did.
My idea of the game, he changed it because it's not like they didn't even have plays, man. They just run down the court. They run
Showtime.
Exactly. That's why it was called that. Magic, man. He changed the game. And of course, Michael Jordan. We could go on about his defensive titles.
I don't think anybody would disagree with that.
His defensive titles. He won 3 guys. He went and played baseball and did fair and come back, won 3 more. Come on, you know.
And played single A baseball.
Yes. So those are my picks. And why do you like? Of course. Why do you like LeBron? With those other 3 that we agree on, what's your...
Well, I'd like, it's kind of close between Bird and LeBron, but maybe, LeBron with his... Well, Bird averaged 24 points and 10 rebounds.
Yeah.
But maybe just he's played in so many more titles, and he's getting pretty old, and he's still doing it. He's still doing it.
And he is...
Still doing well.
Yeah, he seems to be a little nicked up right now. And we'll see how they do. We're going to get in some NBA when these bowl seasons settle down a little bit. And we're going to get in some NFL playoffs later on. So, those are our 4 picks.
A little difference there. Not just one, though. Yeah. I agree with that. You got to put Kareem on there. 38,000 points.
The thing with LeBron is he catches a lot of heat because he's expected to be the greatest ever. And he was splashed on the book, every book, magazine that was out, and sometimes you kind of feel sorry for the guy in some sorts because he's held to such a level, and
he's lived up to it to a certain extent.
He's been in these 9 finals, and he has failed in a lot of those finals. But when he's at the Heat, the Cavaliers originally, he had no teammates, man. Kevin Garnett and them beat him out.
Yeah.
Man, those were 3 Hall of Famers. Paul Pierce, Ray Allen on that team.
Yeah, but to go to the finals,
tough.
Yeah.
He hung on, and then he went down to Miami, won some games, probably in the Spurs down there, beat them, and Mavericks.
I'd say his high point was coming back to Cleveland and winning it.
Yeah, well, he played with Kyrie. I'm a Kyrie fan. I don't know about the flat earth stuff, but But I like him as a basketball player.
He said the earth slept.
Yeah, he's one. But anyway, that's so. Yeah, LeBron has been held to a high scrutiny of what he's expected to do, and it's like if he don't, it's kind of like Alabama. I'm sorry I compared him to Alabama. It's like if they don't win it, he's terrible.
Yeah.
LeBron didn't win, he's garbage. That's not true. Why can't he just be 24, 8 and 10? Why is that not a good year? Dude, he's played basketball for 18 years now.
18, and still he's never averaged less than 20.
No. So in his defense, yes, he hadn't been clutch in some moments. So anyway, we all like Kareem, Magic, and Jordan and I like Bird, and Todd's got LeBron. That's great. So those are just side notes. We appreciate everybody for listening. WDKR.org. Always tune in and check us out next Sunday. We're having the New Year's coming, so New Year's will be the 1st. We hope everybody has had a great 2019. Personally, 2019 has been bittersweet for me. I lost my mom this year, and we've been steady at work, and work's going good. And what about you? What's
2019.
What's it been for you?
I'm ready for 2020.
Yeah, I'm ready to get the perfect vision, man.
I'm ready for 2020.
I'm ready for politics to settle down and people quit talking about it. I'm tired of hearing about things.
2019's been all right. But my grandmother passed at the end of 2018, and we went up and saw her a lot, so that's changed. We still go up there, but she's not there. So yeah, it's been a little difficult.
Yeah, holiday
dealing
time
with death.
It is. So look, hey guys, we thank y'all again for listening in, and God bless everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all next week on the Matt and Todd Show. Diamond Dean and Big Matt signing out. Love you guys. God bless.
That's a wrap.